To contribute to this condolence motion for Ray Hollis, the former member for Redcliffe and Speaker of the Queensland Parliament. And I associate myself with those condolence remarks that have been made so far and acknowledge Jufen, his children and grandchildren, friends and other family with us today. I first met Ray when he was a member for Redcliffe about 25 years ago, when I was a brash young councillor for the Deception Bay area. When he asked me to work on local projects with him in the area, including the Red Shield appeal, that could only be a yes, the way he asked. And I always found him to be courteous, a gentleman and always respectful. And I always sensed his decorum and dignity, and I always saw his genuine dedication to the people of Redcliffe and his genuine love for them as well. But I didn't know him as well as the Honourable Dean Wells, my Labor predecessor as a member for Marumba. Now, he's a Labor legend, a federal member for Petrie, state member for Marumba, and Attorney General in the Goss government, who guided through those legal reforms at the time. And Dean is with us today, or will be with us today, here in the gallery. Now, I spoke to Dean about Ray as they served in neighbouring seats, and they worked closely together, and I asked him what he remembers most about Ray. And what Dean said was, few speakers of this House have made as significant an impact on parliamentary life as Ray did. And he did it with just one decision that he made shortly after taking the Speaker's chair. Until Ray's time, members of this House had the letters MLA after their name, and often their constituents didn't know what those letters meant. Ray changed that with a stroke of the pen. Since his time as Speaker, members of this House have been called MPs. Now, Dean also said Ray would be seen at everything on the peninsula that opens and shuts. People often speak of Ray's friendly smile and his cooperative approach to every problem. Ray worked on the assumption that every project undertaken for the benefit of the people of the peninsula was going to succeed and was going to be a shared endeavour. Ray was born in East London. He was a Cockney, actually born within hearing of Bow Bells. Growing up during his early years in the immediate post-war era, he and his young mates, even though they lived in London, had plenty of open spaces to play cricket and other games. The German bombers had seen to that, and it wasn't until many years later that they learned that there were many unexploded bombs buried beneath their playgrounds. Many people did not even notice that Ray was English by birth, and Ray used to say, "The East End accent is more like the Australian accent than any other because so many of the convicts came from there." Dean further said that Ray was his friend and colleague. They worked together on many projects for the people of the Redcliffe Peninsula. And Dean tells me of one night, shortly after Ray had been elected Speaker, when a division had just been called. He took the opportunity while the bells were ringing to approach the Speaker's chair to talk to Ray about one of their joint projects. Dean began by saying, "Well, Ray, it's a long way from hearing the great bell of Bow to ordering division bells to ring in the Queensland Parliament." Ray smiled and replied, "Yes, but it has been a very worthwhile journey." Mr. Speaker, the life of Ray Hollis was indeed a very worthwhile journey. Vale Ray Hollis.